feel free to. Hey, there we go. We're live. What is up, home service homies? Don't mind me staring at my phone here. I'm gonna try to find us out in the Facebookiverse. My profile still says I work at Blue Sky Services. That's funny. I probably ought to change that. Let's see here. I think I'm live. It says I'm live. Am I live yet?
Yeah,
there we go. Live. I see us now. I'm gonna get this thing to public mode. There we go. Now all you homies can share this around, participate in the public forum. We got Jeff Ford on, and Jeff, this is officially the third time we've tried to do a podcast, and so it would lend one to believe that the third time is the charm. The second time is definitely not, according to why we had to reschedule last time.
No,
but besides your beer fridge shorting out, check this thing out. People listening are probably sick of me talking about this beer fridge. Look at this baby. I got the miniest of mini fridges. This is the best Christmas present I ever got. My wife got me a mini fridge. It can hold 6 cans. I only got 4 in here tonight. So if we go too long, I need to tell my wife to bring me up a couple more Busch Lights. But I got the best damn bookkeeping logo on there. Got the home service happy hour logo on there. I run with her unplugged most of the time. It's just kind of like here is a footrest. But then when we're about to do a podcast, I throw some cold ones in it and plug her in, and we're off and running. She's a beauty. So I gotta fire this up. Shout out to Chris Gentry using his koozie tonight, my service area. If anybody's out there watching, or if you listen to the podcast later and you got a koozie, mail it to me. Hit me up on the Facebooks or something. Mail it to me. We can highlight your koozies. I got Delmarva holiday lights right here for my boy Rob Anderson. Delmarva Christmas lights. I said holiday lights. He's still back in the 20th century when you could say Christmas and not get in trouble. Now you gotta say holiday. Isn't that like the proper way to talk about Christmas so you don't offend people? I don't know. I offend everybody, so I don't know.
That's the proper.
It's politically.
Well, I was at the playground with my kid, and I was at the playground with my daughter. Oh, actually, we weren't at the playground. We were sledding, and I was trying to get my daughter and 2 of her friends on a sled, and I said, "Hey, sit Indian style," and they looked at me like I had 4 heads. And they go, "What does that mean?" I go, cross your legs. They go, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, just get in the damn sled. And I just pushed them. It was
like a Native American. I don't know. Like when I grew up, you just said Indian salad. Everybody knew what you meant.
The thing is, I go, sit like an Indian. They're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And I just pushed them down the hill. I mean, I didn't know what else.
Yeah, and then you're like, "I don't know how to explain this thing." Like
I didn't know how to respond, so I just shoved him down the hill. I was like, whatever, figure it out.
Good play. Yeah. You'll figure out how you want to sit so you don't bust your ass up. What do kids call it nowadays?
It's crisscross applesauce. Don't make me ever say that again, please.
Oh, sorry, Jeff. My apologies. I feel like a terrible person.
I promised I was never going to say that out loud, and so
that's I got you to say it. It's almost like I knew it was coming, and I just wanted you to say it, so I didn't have to sound like a dumbass.
It makes me. I can't believe I actually said that, and publicly. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. And now it's just on the airwaves forever. There's nothing we can do
forever to erase it. On the internet.
You're just going to be known as crisscross applesauce Ford. That's what it's going to be.
Don't give ideas. That's not cool.
That's what we're going to start.
I don't need to go to the convention next year and be that guy.
Yeah. What's up, Chris? Hey, how are you sitting over there, crisscross? Actually, maybe you embrace it and then you just shorten it up to like crisscross and you wear your pants backwards. You talk about how you can sing about how you missed the bus.
We'll go straight 1988. And then no other generation will even know what we're doing. Like they'll just wonder why my clothes aren't backwards.
It'd be great. Speaking of the 80s, what the hell are you watching behind you?
Well, we got Roadhouse, which isn't it?
Roadhouse
is going Dalton. On. I just have Roadhouse playing nonstop in my basement.
It's you know how like there's this thing where if you just could play a certain song, it would be like your song while you're walking around. Like it's just know when batters walk up in a baseball game and they always got their music playing. for you, like a movie follows you around, just Roadhouse follows you around, and it's just like on a screen wherever you are. You walk past a store that's like a TV store with like a display of TVs. You're in Best Buy. You walk past it, and every TV just switches to Roadhouse.
Well, it's funny because I don't know, I had it on, and then I sent you the text, and I was like, hey, what link is it? And you go, I'm sending the link now. And I just ran over to my desk and started pulling stuff up. And then as I linked with you, I could see myself finally, and I saw the movie behind me. I was like, whatever. If I touch something now, something's gonna go wrong. So
yeah, this is perfect because if you get really boring, we'll all just watch the movie, and I'll kind of ask a question every once in a while. You got chicks dancing behind you. This is pure entertainment. This is great. Is there any nudity we need to warn people about? I don't know the last time I saw Roadhouse.
I think this is actually a nudity scene. So careful.
That's good stuff.
I don't know what this show's rated.
I mean, it doesn't have a rating. I end the intro little, hey, Jeff Ford's on the show tonight, blah, blah, blah. I always end my blurb with enjoy the show responsibly. So, I leave it wide open.
Don't watch
it's like, whatever that means to you, that's just what you got to do. So if watching Roadhouse via Jeff's monitor is not safe for you and your family, then there's probably a different live or anything. You could go do anything else, but I don't recommend that you do. Jeff, we gotta get the firefight. Yeah. Get out of here. Get lost. We got to talk about firefighting stuff. We got to talk about pressure washing stuff. We sure as hell got to talk about flooding basements. And actually, I'll preface with this, and then I'm gonna have you introduce yourself a little bit. You know how bad things happen in threes? You know that that's a thing. Yeah. So you were number 1 of 3, and I know number 2, and I don't know who number 3 is. So I'm kind of worried that I might be number 3, but your basement flooded. We'll get that story from you later. It has to do with you building a bar with your beer fridge shorting out on you. There's some wrinkles going on there. Very shortly thereafter, San Diego had all that rain coming down, and my boy Michael Gregory over at Click Call Sell, that dude doesn't have carpet in his house anymore. And he had just gotten he put, I don't know how much money, but I'll say tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars into yard maintenance so that if the water was high in this type of case, the drain field was going away from his house instead of towards his house. And it didn't matter. His house got flooded. So now he's I don't know if this is a silver lining as good as your silver lining of, well, now I just have a good excuse to build my bar. But his silver lining was, well, now we're just like moving in with the in-laws, and so you get like a free babysitter. So you got that going for you. And
there's that, I guess. I don't know about moving in with in-laws, but yeah,
it depends. Very much depends on the in-laws. It depends on how many kids, how rambunctious your kids are, and then like if your in-laws have good beer in their fridge or not. Is kind of what it depends on.
Well, yeah. The story with mine was we bought this house like 3 years ago, and nice finished basement. I had the theater. I put in that, and then we have a storage area that's probably
been playing Roadhouse ever since. Just put it in. Plays, didn't even have to turn it on. It just started playing.
Anything from 1983 to 1989, it just rotates
on a loop.
Constantly. I paid a heavy subscription for that, and so long story long, we have this big storage area where we only use probably about a quarter of it, and it's all studded out, whatever. And I came up with this great idea, and I was like, hey, we have the rest of the basement that's finished. The kid can play back there. We have a theater area. I got arcades, whatever. And then I want to do a speakeasy, do a built-in bookcase, pull the book, straight Goonies.
Yeah.
You pull the book, the ball goes down, the door's open.
Back in there, yeah.
And it's like a speakeasy. So my wife's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. So, and I'm like, well, you don't understand.
So you're like, and you're like, okay, well, after I do this, then you'll understand how cool it is.
Exactly. So after I bought all the wood 2 years ago, actually it might have been 3 years. Remember when the wood was spiking?
Yeah, you bought it. You bought it when it was super expensive?
Yeah, I bought $400 at 2x4s, and they've been sitting in this
I mean,
room.
like you bought like 8 of them?
Yeah, well, this is before they spiked. Yeah, so I
Oh,
was
that was
actually
before.
I
Okay.
had a pile of gold sitting in my basement,
Oh,
for
damn.
3 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you got like 100%
so
return on that investment, like probably in
exactly,
like 6 months.
right. Well, fast forward to we had the big rainfall here in Maryland, and then we had about 6 inches of snow. It hasn't snowed here in almost 3 years, ironically. So I get off shift. I'm a fireman.
Yeah,
I get off shift.
did you even know that it could snow there? Did you even know that? I guess
No, yeah, because when I moved here in '07,
okay,
and
you've been there
I'm
longer.
from Michigan, where
Yeah.
it's just you're used to 12 feet of snow wherever you go, right?
Hey, guess how
Well,
much snow I'm in Minneapolis right now. Guess how much snow we have on the ground here?
my sister's in Wisconsin. She says she has like 14 feet or something stupid. Not feet,
Yeah,
but
we have 0. I can
you
see
do.
my lawn is green right now, and it was in the mid-50s today, and I ran outside. I don't know what's happening.
That's
Al
what today was
Gore
50.
Al Gore was fucking right. Al was right. I don't know.
Let's
That's
not get ridiculous.
yeah, that's a stretch. Man bear pig. Man bear pig was
Yeah.
right. All right. Anyway,
So, anyways,
you got
my
badass
sump
expensive
pump my sump pump breaks and it floods the entire basement. Yada yada. I checked the insurance, we're covered, whatever. And my wife comes down. The first thing she says, she goes, I understand that the basement flooded, but why do I feel like you flooded it in order to get your bar bill? just to gut the whole thing. And I was like, I understand that sounds like something I might do because I'm pretty when I get an idea, I kind of go big with it.
That would
I
be
didn't
the ultimate passive aggressive move.
yeah.
Like,
I was like, I'm not
base.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
I'm not that
Flood the
crazy.
basement so I can get what I want. So anyway,
Yeah, no, that's a whole nother level.
But now that you're gonna build that bar in there, now,
Yeah. So it did work out in my favor. So
yeah.
I started framing everything. So maybe next time I'm on, it'll be done. And you won't be watching Roadhouse. It'll be something
No, I think
else
we will.
in
I
the
think
back.
we probably should put Roadhouse on the
It
back.
probably will. Every time from now on,
Yeah.
it's going to be different parts of Roadhouse.
Always. It might just be a new shtick on the show. Just whoever's on, I'm like, hey man, I know that you're traveling right now, but you got to figure out how to get Roadhouse in your hotel room so we can have that in the background. It's a thing we do here. We got some folks checking in. We got our boy Doug Brown says, "Yo, Dan, what is up, Doug?" Hamid is checking in. He agreed. Let's not get ridiculous about Al Gore being right. He says, "What's up?" And this asshole Zig Scott says, "Who gave this guy?" Like, I don't know which one of us he's talking about, to be honest.
I had to Amazon. It tells Zig I had to Amazon my mic today. So
yeah. You're probably just like, shit. How am I? Like, do I have a camera? Do I have a microphone? Oh, he did clarify it both.
I don't.
I think that's actually probably appropriate. I think you're probably right. So let's back her up here for a sec, Jeff. Let's get a little background on you. You grew up. Man. I think we have to go here first. You said you grew up in Michigan. You're wearing a Lions shirt. I don't know. I'm a Packer. I grew up in Wisconsin. I'm a Packer fan. I felt like the Packers had him. It would have been so fun to have Packers Lions in that game. I felt like the Lions had them. Is it just the Niners' destiny to get in there and win a Super Bowl finally here? I mean, I think they're a good team. I don't have anything against them.
I don't know. I don't want to. I know we're live, and I don't want to start talking about what I think happened in the second half of the Lions game. I think we all saw what happened, and there was mistakes made, and 3 touchdowns that were easily catchable, regardless of whether we should have taken a field goal or not. But
yeah,
it was disappointing. But they did. It was the best season in my 42 years that I've ever seen, and I'm happy that they made it as far as they did. So
I think Lions fans and Packer fans are probably in a similar boat. I feel like where you guys finished was reasonable for expectations going into this year. Like going in, it's like the Lions are going to probably like win the North and have a chance to go. I think the Packers are kind of like if they sniff 500, that would probably be good. Like who knows what they're going to have. So for the Packers to get in, it was kind of like oh shit, like we're going to be all right. Like we snuck in here. But I think in both cases, it's like, I'm super thrilled that we're here. I'm super thrilled that we won a game. Lions won a couple. But at the same time, if the Niners would have blown either of us out, and I don't mean to speak for you, but I kind of feel like if they would have blown either of us out, it's just like, well, shit. Like, at least we made it this far. Like, the Niners are really freaking good.
Yeah.
And maybe someday we'll be that good.
Yeah.
But to lose the way both of our teams did, where it's just like, oh my God, we were right there and the stupidest things happened. And there's no way the Niners should have won either of those games. But that's how sports work. And sometimes stupid shit happens. And those are the toughest ones, because you're just like, oh my God, we totally should have won that game. There's no reason we shouldn't have won it. We're up 17 going into half. Like, could have been up 20 going into half.
It's nauseating.
It's bonkers.
Well, the one big problem is I was hosting a football party in my basement. I live in Baltimore, so all my neighbors came over to watch the Ravens, and I had other people that like probably 10 people that were going to come over after the Ravens game. They're like, hey, we'll come over after the Ravens game. We're going to watch the Lions. Like, cool. And the Ravens lost, and I was like, I looked at my wife, and we have this huge spread of food that we bought. I go, I don't think anyone's coming over. Nobody came over. I mean, it was me and my wife and my one buddy watching the Lions game. Everyone was so pissed off.
We better eat up.
Oh, yeah. So we had a lot of food left over. But
we got Lee Robertson checking in, says Roadhouse. Noteworthy here. Good catch. Good catch, Lee. Clay Davis. My understanding is Clay Davis doesn't have a Facebook account anymore. So all I can assume is that somebody hacked Clay Davis's account and is being way too nice. That's all I can assume. Clay's a nice guy, but I don't think it's him. I think he's a fraud. I think somebody hacked his account. We're gonna have to solve that. So Jeff, you're from Michigan.
Okay.
You got some firefighting stuff. You got some business stuff. What give us a little history that brought you out to Maryland back in 2007? How'd you get out there? And are you coming back to the Midwest? Are we ever going to get you back in the Midwest, or are you just going to be out there eating seafood for the rest of your life?
Oh God. Well, we'll see. Well, Maryland has been good to us, but so what happened was essentially I was born and raised in Trenton, Michigan. So Journey, South Detroit, essentially that area. We call it in Michigan. We call it downriver. Don't listen to what anything Zig says. I grew up in the upper middle class, so whatever. He'll tell you otherwise. He'll say I grew up by the factories, but so
downriver.
So
one of them downriver boys. I don't know. I feel like that makes you sound tough, like you were in a gang. Like you were in a
pretty much. Gang. Yeah. Well, it's either that or you're very low income. that's how it sounds.
You're a downriver rat.
I knew that was coming. That's why I didn't want to say it out loud. But yeah. So after 9/11 happened, it was either I thought I was going in the military, and my dad being from the Vietnam era, and all of his brothers and everything being Korea War and whatever, he was just like, oh, hold off for a little bit. So I got hired by the fire department right away. Then I got hired in E-Course, where I met Zig. Me and Zig both got hired at E-Course in Detroit. It's a suburb of Detroit. Okay. And worked there for about 4 or 5 years, and then layoffs were coming. It was because the big three took their payouts, and all of the Midwest was collapsing. And they essentially just said, hey, we're laying everybody off other than like a handful.
Yeah, this was like the 2008, 2009, everything kind of
start looking. All right. So my wife she graduated from Western Michigan as architectural design. And I just said, she knew how long it took me to get hired with being a fireman. I go, where's the best place for you to get hired? She goes, the East Coast. So I'm all right. So I just started applying.
We're going.
All the fire departments that were hiring on the East Coast. And the first place that got me was Maryland. And they were like, boom, boom, boom. And I came back home. I drove to Maryland. I came back and I go, hey, I got hired. We moved next month to Maryland. She goes, where's Maryland? I go, I have no fucking idea.
It's over there.
It's one of those small states by New York. Yeah.
I
go, it's over by New York somewhere. I go, I have no idea what this is before, for anyone laughing, this is before iPhones and GPS. I had
you had to print out a MapQuest.
Yeah, I had MapQuest taped
baby.
to the front dashboard of my F-150 5-speed.
Probably, I mean, to go that far, you probably had like 3 or 4 pages for all the turns you were going to need to make.
I had it stapled, and exactly.
Oh, good idea. Yeah, they did have staplers invented by that point in time, so that makes sense.
So
Zig,
yeah, so I've been
we got
working here.
we got a showstopper here. Zig said, "Damn it, we got a fire. Don't talk shit about me while I'm gone." Be safe out there, dude. But
He doesn't have a fire. He's gonna go pick up some crack.
no promises. I'm
So,
I'm not gonna make any promises, but no matter what, just be safe out there, man. You got it. He's coming. He's joining me ice fishing in like 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we'll be out ice fishing.
Nice.
So he's got to.
Where are you guys going for that?
Shit, with it being 55 out here, we might have to go up to like Winnipeg or something. I don't know. I have a fish house. I'm leaving tomorrow to get up to my fish house. It's 5 hours north of here. And the ice we were on 19, 20 inches last weekend, so should still be good. Wow. But
yeah, be all right.
There won't be much snow. I'm in Minneapolis, so we go up right by the Canadian border.
Yeah.
Good way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but yeah, don't go into Canada. You won't be able to get back out. That's all.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, there'll be enough walleyes up there. I'll be able to sustain for a while.
Nice. I haven't gone ice fishing since I moved. It's been that long. We used to go ice fishing. We had a cabin in East Dallas in northern Michigan. Yeah. So we used to go to Perch Fest. You ever go to Perch Fest?
We don't have a Perch Fest, but we do have Eel Pout Festival. You froze up, but now you're back. Kind of.
Look up Perch Festival. There you go. Can you hear me?
A little bit. Here and there.
Hear me now?
It's just lagging a little bit.
All right. I have a night or
streaming
Roadhouse is taking all my Wi-Fi.
He's taking up the bandwidth.
Taking all my Wi-Fi. Well, anyways, but yeah, so when I my daughter turned 3, she was going to daycare and everything, and I wanted to start. I got burned out. I've been a fireman for 23 years now, so I got burned out from doing overtime. I didn't want to do any more overtime. Mm-hmm. I wanted to make actual money, and I wanted to do something on my own. And I was gonna start asphalt paving, like resealing and all that, because I used to do it in high school. And I was going to get a contract through Gold's Gym that I worked out at. And I called Zig and I said, hey, I was going to start this business to do this asphalt reseal for the parking lot. I was going to buy all the pumps and everything. He was like, I go, but they want their building wash first. He was like, screw it. He goes, do the power washing thing. I'll send you all the links. He goes, all the plumbing is just like a fire truck. You already know how to do it. It goes, it'll take you.
You literally know exactly how to spray water.
Literally. But even like the plumbing of all the tanks and the surfactants and like the, using the mixtures and everything, like I already knew all that. And once he showed me, I was like, oh, well, shit. Like, why wouldn't I just do this? Like, when
I already do this,
your face, you don't
realize it. Yeah.
Right. You don't think of the obvious, like, well, I already know everything about this without even thinking, so I had to learn a couple things. I'm
going to just interject and we'll get back to it, but that's how I started doing bookkeeping for the home service industry. Same thing. I've been like running home service businesses for like 5 or 6 years, maybe involved even longer before I realized like, oh shit, I can do this bookkeeping thing that I find just like easy and fun for my business, and everybody else hates it and doesn't know how to do it. Anyway, carry on.
So I started, I'll go, all right, well, screw it. And I told my wife, so I worked nonstop overtime for all of one winter. I already had a trailer, plumbed everything, made all my trailers, and I plumbed everything together. I started my LLC, got my licenses, certificates, yada, yada. And I opened up, my first wash was March of 2021. So, 2021.
Post-COVID.
Yeah. And then, but the biggest thing is I use all military Humvees for my rigs. Oh yeah. So I needed diesels, and I was like, all right, screw it. So I got online. I buy them from the government. People think I'm insane. Like I said, I don't go small with my ideas, but when I was selling to my wife, I was like, well, the curb weight of this thing's over 6,000 pounds, so it was 100% tax write off for that year. I got all my money back. All the money I wanted to start my business, I essentially got it back to the most part. So that's all she cared about. And now I'm driving around in a tank. going making about 6 miles to the gallon. So I
Yeah, I
like
was
it.
gonna say the only challenge with the business model is the fuel percentage on your P&L. That's the only
Yeah.
challenge.
Right.
That's it.
But I mean, that's a write off too. So I mean, we're gonna.
Yeah. What do you have any guys that are working for you that like see your vehicles and are like, oh shit, how am I gonna drive this thing?
So I have done some training. I have a handful of people that I pay for like on big jobs. You know, I'll bring them out, and I have one guy that's really, really into it, and he's really learning the trade. And he wants to learn more. And not with the Humvee. Not only is it the Humvee, but I pull a trailer. But I've been driving fire trucks, so I'm like, to me, it's easy.
Mhm.
And I forget that it's not the common person can drive a 8 foot wide truck with a
Yeah.
trailer and 6 tons on it and whatever. So we went to I had a shopping center wash that I do quarterly. It's a big wash, but I was like, hey, Nick, come on, I'll let you drive. We're gonna pull up to the hydrant just like a fire truck. We're gonna hook up. We're gonna fill the tanks. We're gonna do some figure eights and see what you do. This guy drove over every. I mean, when I say drove over for every divider, and I was like, okay, just stop the truck. I
Easy
go,
now.
just look ahead. Don't look to your sides because it's so wide. He's nervous. Once he got
Oh,
that,
yeah.
I think he got it. But I don't think anyone's gonna be driving it for a while. I might. So I bought a F-150 as my back truck.
There you go. That's a good call. Yeah.
For the employees if needed. So
When I talk to bookkeeping clients of mine, when they're trying to scale their business and they have trailers, I always laugh. I'm like, how many guys have you hired so far? And they're like, well, I had this one guy and I hired another one and he was good with it, but then I hired this one and he wasn't good. And I was like, was the one guy that was good a fisherman? Because it's usually that. If you're gonna hire, if you've got trailers, you better be hiring fishermen because those 20-year-old kids don't know how to back anything in unless they are fishermen.
no,
Then they've been doing it for a decade because
100%.
they probably their dad like had them back it in and he jumped in the boat when they were going fishing. So that's the only way to scale it with
Exactly.
trailers. It's hard to
Well,
scale.
I mean that's smart. And the biggest problem with the Humvees, there's no back window, so you can't turn. You got to use your mirrors, which is like
you
how you're
actually
supposed
have
to drive
use
it.
your mirrors. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you tell that to a 23-year-old, they're like, what do you mean I got to use my mirrors? I'm like, you got to watch your mirrors. Left is right, right is left, and they're like, I'm done. So I remember telling
hand on the
my
bottom of the steering wheel. Hand on the bottom of the steering wheel.
oh my
If
god,
you got to go,
I tried explaining that to somebody. The hand on the bottom of the steering wheel. They looked at me like I was an alien. He was like, "What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean hand on the bottom of the steering wheel? And when you look in the mirror, you go the way you want to go." And I'm like, "Never mind. Just give me."
like, I'm trying to find any way to explain this to you, any possible way.
So I bought a Ford Raptor that has a knob that you just
Oh
steer
yeah,
it
like you're
backwards.
driving a damn steering wheel.
No, it
Or,
has an actual
yeah.
that stupid parking knob that you just turn
Oh,
and it
yeah,
steers
it just
for you.
does the thing. No, well, that does it
So
too.
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So
That
we're
is
gonna get
kinda
rid of the trailer. We're just gonna do skids.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
You got to
So
build it.
it's
You
been
got to
good.
build it dummy proof. You got to build it
Yeah.
dummy proof.
Because we're starting to get bigger. So we're that's what I was looking at today. I'm got a lot more I'm getting a lot more property management companies that I'm under now. I'm getting a lot more contracts. So now we're getting to that realm of before I wasn't worried about hiring or having more trucks on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm getting like, well shit. We're getting big contracts now. Like,
Yeah, we're
where
gonna
I'm
get all
like,
this done.
right, exactly. So, and and as an owner, you're like, yeah, we can do it. Like, but sometimes you got to, reel yourself back and realize if you don't have everyone on board that you usually use for your bigger jobs, you're kind of shit out of luck.
Yep.
So if you don't have anyone signed on permanently, that's a scary thought. So I'm at that learning curve now and we're at the curve now where we're growing to where we're getting more trailers, more trucks. Now we need a warehouse. Now I can't just keep taking my garage up and
you can't run it all out of your house, or it won't be your house for much longer.
Yeah. The HOA is gonna boot us out, or my wife's gonna boot me out.
I was gonna say I'd be more worried about your wife. I don't know your wife, but just as I know dudes that are business owners,
Yeah.
the HOA would be one thing, but your wife,
My wife's very, very beautiful woman and terrifying.
so
So
it's
yeah.
kind of funny. It's like in a way, you don't want a bunch of employees coming over to your house, but in a way, you're also like, well, she just kicked the shit out of him anyway. So,
Yeah. No, she would just say, okay, you're not allowed in anymore, and I would be done. So I need to find a bigger plate. I need to find a warehouse of some kind, and that's hard to find because that's the next scariest thing about owning a business is you're like, okay, don't want to take on another mortgage, even if it's for renting, like $3,000 for a 3-car bay. I mean, I don't need an office yet. I'm not hiring an office worker or anything, but I do need a substantial 2,000 square foot engine bay, essentially. To put all my equipment, because right now I'm
some wide ass garage doors for your Hummers.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, so now, yeah. So it's the Hummees were a good idea, but now when I can't fit them in the bay doors, that's kind of a bad idea.
Can you turn the mirrors in? Can you turn the mirrors
in?
Yes,
you can. You can do that. It's still pretty tight. They're 7 feet 7 inches wide. So I mean, it's
yeah.
tight,
You're kissing the sides.
Yeah.
Your employee gets back with it, and you're like, hey, park it outside. I'll bring it in.
Yeah. I'll pull. Yeah, just park in front of the bay. I'll back them up, or just leave them outside. Just get the trailer inside, or all the equipment. I don't care about the trucks. The trucks are fine. They're made to go underwater. They'll be all right. So
yeah.
But yeah. So we're at that point now where we're just trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out, along with everything else, and what's the next step. We're at that awkward point now where it's like, what do I make myself grow into next? Do I focus on a warehouse? Do I focus on taking on bigger jobs to where I can get the money to front to do that, so I don't have to take out money, or you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm not a big loan guy. I've done it before, but like the whole business, I guess, just worked overtime to front the money.
Yep.
And I took out some loans, and luckily it all worked out, and I paid them all off right away.
Yep.
But I don't like that feeling. I hate owing money. You know what I mean?
There's no joy in that. It doesn't matter how much money you make with the money you borrowed. There's just no joy in it. Like it's stressful. It's an unnecessary stress. It's not a stress that brings value to a bunch of people. It's just a stress that keeps you up at night. So I'm totally with you. I don't have an issue with financing stuff that's out making money, but I don't like borrowing money to put infrastructure in place, right? Like I don't like to buy a building necessarily, because the building doesn't make any money. The building is just a dead weight sunk cost, and you can't be like, hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm actually going to need to raise your price on this job because my rent just went up or my mortgage just went up. Like that is not hey, Mrs. Jones, the cost of labor is a lot higher this year. Our pricing has gone up. Here's what the new price is. Like, people don't like that, but they understand that, right? But people usually aren't willing to pay for your infrastructure cost. That's your problem.
They're not willing to pay for your problem.
Yeah. And infrastructure is a big bill every month, and it's dead weight, because if the economy recesses and all of a sudden you're doing half as much in revenue, it's not like your rent goes down, right?
Right.
There's a lot of things that you are stuck to. So infrastructure is always tricky like that. One thing I see, and I present on this topic a lot when I'm like going to trade shows and stuff, is like you're entering a purgatory where you're at right now, where it's like you end up needing to hire people to go out to do the work. So you're off the truck a little bit more, which means you're not getting that paycheck. Those guys are. And the more guys you get, the more infrastructure you need. You end up needing to rent a place. You might end up needing some administrative help, because now you need more phone calls and more clients to go out to send those dudes out to go do the work. And there's this point in there where you go backwards financially. Like you're doing more work, you're selling more jobs, you're helping more people, you're solving more people's problems, and you're making less money. And that's like the shittiest part of business. Now that happens when you're going from like 200 to 300,000 to 500,000, depending on your business model and everything. Like somewhere in there, you hit a point like that, and everybody hits it. 500 to 600,000, maybe up to 7. You hit like a nice sweet spot where you can afford to have like a few crews out running. You've got an admin person, and like you can leave for a little bit, and the business can still run and make money while you're gone. It can't solve a bunch of problems necessarily. You might not have that person, And then when you
Right.
start pushing again to try to get it like over $1 million, you run into like a new set of problems that get really expensive to solve. And so there's just like this weird period of time where you're spending a bunch of money trying to, like you kind of said, prioritize which problems you want to try to solve first. And for a stretch, you're like, man, this sucks. I'm working way harder. I've got all these other people's problems to deal with now because now I have a bunch more employees and I'm making less money. And man, it's like the faster you can get through that, the better. But there's no like secret weapon to it.
Well, that's exactly. And like when we were at the convention, I talked to what's his name, the king of power washing. I always forget. I'm horrible with names. You know, a tall guy.
Jason Guyman.
Yes. And I was like, you know, me and him were just kind of bullshit. And I was like, hey, I go, what's the magic number if you had to pick one to where you think it's okay to put a truck out, another truck? Like you're not on it. I purchased another truck, put the equipment on, and I sent it out. And I got one guy running it. He goes, you need to be at, you know, 120 to 130 a year before you even think about putting another truck out. So now I'm like, okay, so this year that was my mark and I hit it. Okay, so I doubled what I did last year. My last year was my second year on. This is technically my third 2.5 years. So I hit it. So now I'm like, but now so here in Maryland, it's weird. It's not like Michigan where our winters are super mild. So I have a lot of commercial cement cleaning that I still do. So I have a space heater on my pumps. I don't winterize them because it barely ever gets below 30 here. Like it's not like Michigan where it's like you have a deep freeze.
Yeah.
Like my hoses aren't freezing. Like I don't have to blow them out. Like I mean, as long as I have chem in them, they're not going to freeze. Like it's not a big deal. So I'm probably out washing still 2 or 3 times a week. Not big jobs, but they're my commercial jobs, you know. But now, now the March is approaching, I have all my big commercial clients now want their stuff done, other stuff. And now I'm getting even more that they heard of, you know. And now I tied on to about 7 more property management companies. And now I'm like, holy shit, you know. Like I just called Zig today. I just had one that was 608,000 square feet.
Damn.
6 stories. I did their parking garage. And they're like, hey, we want the whole building washed. Now I need to repel because it has a gardens area that you can't access unless you repel off the side.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool with, but now I got to hire a rigging crew. I'm game. I'm going to drone the shit out of this, but now I'm trying to price crazy shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to have cranes. I got to get a crane other than not just a boom lift, but a crane to like bring my equipment on the roof so I can rappel off it and wash.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and hopefully it's worth it, but either way, it'll make a cool video.
Yeah, sounds fun. And I think there's a I don't know that there's a solution to this, but there's a beauty in when you get enough work like that, you get enough runway where it gives you the confidence and like the thumbs up to go get the next rig, hire the next guy, it's still hard to go get the infrastructure because if you hire the guy and then you get the rig in place and all of a sudden everything like comes to a screeching halt because sometimes you get so busy that you forget to keep selling. I've seen that happen to a lot of people too. And then all of a sudden they get to July and they're like, oh shit, we don't have any work to do because I've been so busy at work and I haven't been selling anything. But it gives you enough runway where now you have the cash flow to afford to hire the person. You have the work to be able to train them, and you can go get the vehicle and all the equipment and everything to expand. But if things go backwards, you can get rid of those things, right? Like there's a little bit of risk you're taking, but you're really not taking that much risk. It's riskier to put those things in place when you don't have that runway. In this case, you have the runway. The hardest decision to make though is like, do you go sign a 3-year lease, right? Or go buy a thing that you're tied into and kind of stuck into, and then that's where you lose the flexibility. That's the tricky one,
right? And it wouldn't be a big deal if I had a house with property. Like I live in suburbia. Hell, I mean, the house is like 5 years old. It's the cookie cutter, you know, mini like. if you saw it, it looks like it's like the begin. Here's another '80s movie, Poltergeist. When they move into that subdivision, that was me. That's me. I have 2-car driveway.
I don't think I've seen the movie, but I can picture your house anyway.
You've never seen Poltergeist?
I don't think so. Sounds scary.
Oh, we're gonna have to end this conversation. I can't believe you've never seen Poltergeist. With the guy from
Why
Coach?
Why don't you? I know the guy from Coach.
Well, that's the dad in it.
Well, I mean, that doesn't do me any good to like
Oh,
imagine
God.
that doesn't help me imagine.
The little blonde girl that talks to the TV.
Is it a horror movie?
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I have no interest in horror movies.
My God.
Not a fan of horror movies. But if you want to throw it on after Roadhouse is over, and then
put that on. All right, we'll figure that out.
I'm just not kind of like there's no joy in what the hell were we talking about just 10 minutes ago? Where I was like, oh, there's no happiness.
Where are you gonna put all your equipment once you get it?
Well, when you've got when you're strapped with debt, there's just like no joy to be had with that. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about horror movies. I'm just like, there's just no enjoyment. Like there's no time where I'd be like, yep, super glad I watched that. That made me happy and feel good. It's like
that's fair enough.
I'm not sitting here watching chick flicks or anything.
Right.
I'm more of like a Dumb and Dumber, Happy Gilmore sort of dude. Tommy Boy,
right.
Like you throw me in any situation like that, and I'm real good. I like the action movie. There's some joy in watching that. There's some entertainment in that, but the horror movies just don't do it for me. There's no joy.
No.
I'm a happy dude. I'm a happy dude, Jeff.
I mean, you're
that's all I got.
That's all
I got. What? So as you're getting this runway built, you're seeing the volume come in, and like kudos to you, props to you, because I talk to a lot of people right now who are not feeling that and are not getting that and are worried about what the world's doing. And it's going into an election year. Election years are always so weird. Like they just suck because there's uncertainty. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. In reality, probably no matter what happens, it's really probably not going to impact us that much, but we're going to act like it is because that's how we always respond to those sorts of things. They always feel bigger than they really are. But you were talking about, just like the uncertainty of like what to prioritize and when to do what are the decisions that you're thinking about? Like you're looking at this runway and is it like, do I hire a full-time person? Do I start building out a skid? Do I prioritize renting a location? Like, what are the thoughts going through your mind that you're trying to fit into this puzzle?
So what I've been doing while all this season, I've been, as we went, I've been making a new trailer. So we got another tank. We got another chem tank. I got another pump.
You're making another trailer for the fishermen you're going to go hire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's in the back of my house. My wife's thrilled about it. And it's got a cover on it. So I've been building that as one of those, like, okay, put money back in the business along with, bookkeeping, marketing, everything else, where it hurts you to do it every time you pay it, but it makes you money in the long run, especially when you're small and you're new. You gotta explode somehow. Yeah, everyone's got to know who you are, or you're just gonna get run over. I have 2 companies that are around me that probably are the kingpins of Maryland, and they're very close to me, and I'm trying to get out of their umbrella.
Do we need to take them down?
Yeah, we're working on it. One guy I know, he's a very nice guy. He's got about 7 rigs, and he started about 8 years ago. He's booming, and he's helped me out. I had a pump break one time. I went and picked up an extra pump from him. Very, very helpful guy.
Is Rob Anderson in your area? Are you by Rob?
Who's he? What's he on?
Clean Power Wash.
Clean Power Wash?
Yeah.
I haven't heard. Rob Anderson sounds familiar though.
And Delmarva Christmas lights. Oh, that looks super cool when it gets all weird from the.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah, it didn't last.
No, it was
there you go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's got its spots. It's pretty badass. Anyway, yeah, Rob's over in Salisbury.
Oh, Salisbury. Yeah, I've done some jobs. That's across the bridge.
Yeah, he's way the fuck over there.
Yeah, so I've done a couple jobs over there. But like that's another one. That's across the bridge. That's a 2.5-hour drive.
That's not
to the
worth
Eastern
doing.
Shore.
That's not worth doing in your Hummer. I'll tell you that much.
No, that's what. So when I do that, I have a hotel. The wife and kids are going to meet me, and we're doing a weekend trip, and we're going to the beach. So I mean, so it better be a big enough time. Yeah,
a little boondoggle.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so I've been skidding out another trailer, and then I think my biggest thing now is because I'm getting so many more commercial jobs where like I have a like 300-gallon tank of SH, just that I'm constantly filling up because was that busy. But that's taking up an entire space in my garage. The other side is my trailer and all the equipment. And my wife's like, this is ridiculous. Like you're like, we've completely run out of room. And I'm like, I understand that. Like, so I think my number one priority is space. Like finding
usually what I see happens is you have a desire to get some space, but your spouse has a greater desire to get you the fuck out of their space. And that's usually the
100%.
If you went to her and you were like, hey, rent is going to be $5,000 a month, she'd be like, how much is in our bank account? Yeah, get out of here.
Right.
Like she would find an excuse to kick you out of that garage
without even taking a second breath. She would, yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, she'd be like, figure it out. When it gets crazy like this, she goes, well, this was your stupid idea. So, and I was like, yeah, it's a stupid idea until we have fun with it.
Generic Facebook user says they're back. I don't know. This could be. I'm not sure if this is Zig. It could be Zig since he said he was leaving and now he says he's back. But he made it. Made the analogy. No, he did say it's Zig. He made the analogy that you not knowing Rob Anderson is worse than me not knowing Poltergeist. And I'd agree. Rob's
the name sounds familiar. I'm just horrible with names. If I saw a face, if you flash his face,
if Rob jumps on tonight, like he might jump on this episode and co-host this. He co-hosts for me every once in a while, just randomly at will. He always has
familiar.
access to link. And
but I've also been drinking.
Dude. Yeah.
I'm sure you told me to make drinks, so
yeah. That's.
Are we sponsored by Tito's or what?
We're sponsored by whoever the hell will give us some free alcohol around.
There you go, Tito's. You can sponsor us for a night.
Yeah.
And Rob, call in so I can remember what your face looks like. Yeah. I'm horrible with names. I'm sorry.
Rob would probably be drinking some bourbon or a fancy boy beer if he jumped on. We'll see. So you got to get a location going. You got the runway. How many dudes do you have that work for you right now? And are they like subcontractors you use, or you got any full-time?
Yeah, well, I got my one buddy. My one buddy owns. He's another fireman in Annapolis, and he last year he contacted me, kind of like how I did with Zig, and he was like, "Hey, look, I want to start this thing." He goes, "I got the gist of it. Like, point me the way. Like, what do you think I need? I got this truck. I got this equipment. Is this worth it? Blah blah blah." Mm-hmm. So he was super eager. He owns Roof Home and Rescue in Maryland, and
okay,
I don't know where his central location is, but essentially by me in Bel Air and Perry Hall. And his name's Brad. And
sounds like an asshole.
Yeah, well, he's a fireman, so most of us are. Okay. And so he learned his way, and then so when he had a lot of contacts, and so I had a lot of property management companies. He would come help me. He wanted to learn, so I started bringing him to a couple of my bigger night jobs, whatever. He kind of wanted to test his equipment and everything, learn what works, what doesn't, how to set up a soft wash pump and everything. The guy knows, catches on quick. So a lot of any big job he gets or any big job I got, we subcontract. We just split it as of now. Like we're just because we're both at a single truck. And he knows, right? I can give him my truck. He can drive it. He can run my equipment. I don't have to worry about whatever. So I mean, it's easy money because whatever. It's fine because he can't do it by himself. I can't do it by myself in these huge jobs. So me and him, we've created an alliance. I have a couple guys that are like in their mid-20s that have come on that I use for more manpower. Hey, I need alignment. Just make sure I don't snag on anything. I'm going to run this line. Just make sure I don't snag on anything. It's a 14,000 square foot building. If I snag on something, I'm going to lose it. Just make me walk like I don't have a line behind me. And I'll pay you. I'll pay you. $25 an hour just to make me happy. Just make sure my line doesn't snag on a rock or anything. So I got guys like that, but they're starting to
Do
get eager.
you
They're
have them
learning.
like sports guys where they like pour Gatorade in your mouth? Do you have them do that where you're just like, all right, like feed me water?
I got a couple of cheerleaders, and so we got walkie talkies now. I go Gatorade, and they just run over and squirt in my face. So
I think that's the weirdest thing in sports where like a water boy squirts water in their mouth. I'm just like, I just would feel better about
that.
No, just like let me do it. It's not taxing on me to squirt water in my own mouth. You're actually
I have hands.
Yeah, you're not helping me. You're probably getting more on my face because there's no way you trying to pour shit into my mouth could possibly go as good as just me squirting it into my own mouth. So I might.
I'm on national TV, and you're squirting into my mouth.
Yeah.
That's
and
weird.
You make me look like a baby. You make me look like a damn child.
I don't get it. But
I'll never understand it.
So
until I'm a pro athlete, which I think I'm on the downhill side of that. So I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the sad part is my buddy. I played hockey all the way through juniors and everything, and then you realize when you're not going to make it.
Like a guy that would have played hockey.
I was that guy. I was the goon. You know, I was not a finesse player. I was the shit starter, and
yeah, get up in there.
Right. So I played all the way through juniors, junior B, 1 year in junior A. You know if you're going to make it or not. I wasn't going to make it. It is what it is, and it's fine. And but my buddy, who was always phenomenal, well, he was the captain for the New Jersey Devils for 20 years. He just retired. He went to New York this last year and then came back for his final year. Andy Green.
Mark Messier? No,
Andy Green.
Okay.
Yeah. So he retired, but it's funny watching. He would come skate with us. We'd go home for Christmas, and everyone would come skate. And you don't realize the difference between like skating. The guy never stopped skating, and we stopped after we were like in our mid-20s.
A dude that does it was hours a day.
The most exhausting thing I've ever done in my life. And he's just like he's floating. And I'm like, dude, I can't even. And I'm quick, and I was like, I can't even catch up to you. Like, what in the hell is happening here? He goes, it's a completely different game. And he would bring some of his guys out there. I'm like, I'm done. I'm gonna vomit. This isn't fun anymore. You took the fun out of hockey.
Oh God, So I grew up as a basketball player, and like average, dude. Like I'm 5'10". Why would I have played basketball? Right. I should have played hockey actually. But like I could skate okay, and I thought I could puck handle okay. But then I played some hockey with dudes that played hockey, and I was like, how the hell can you guys manipulate the puck the way that you do when you're skating as fast as you are, and this thing is like out away from your body the way that it is? Like the puck always would end up right underneath me, and then you're like jammed up. Like I just the puck handling was always. Yeah, I mean, like I'm fast. Like I'm fast on skates. I could keep up with we had really good hockey players at our school. We went to state every year I was in high school. So like my buddies were all really good at hockey. And I could keep up with them, but the puck handling and like I could shoot a wrister. I never really like got a good slap shot, but I also didn't play on skates much. But man, the puck handling, dude, like that coordination of that little thing and the ability to manipulate it, that always blew my mind. Is just like the difference between people that do that all day, every day. It's nuts.
Well, it's funny. When I got hired on this fire department here in Maryland, I found out they had a department team, and I was like, oh, really? Cool. So I went out and played with them. And Maryland's not a big hockey; it's more lacrosse and football and baseball. Like hockey is there's an ice rink, maybe 2 ice rinks within a couple hours around Maryland. It's pretty bad. But so I go out and I'm like, all right, let's go skate. It's all firemen. I mean, they're in their 30s, late 20s, whatever. And I'm probably 28 at the time. And I go out and they're just like, holy
juniors.
They're like holy shit. They're like, they go, how aren't you on the Capitals? I'm like, guys, this is the first time I've skated in like 6 years. I just grew up where that's what we did. And I was good, but you don't know to you guys, I look phenomenal, but level that would blow me out of the water that you don't even know about, because these guys they decided to start playing hockey at like 28 learn hockey, And I'm like, that's not how hockey works. You start at 2, and then you progress.
You're playing competitively at 4.
Yeah, you don't start in as an adult. You're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Hockey starts pretty damn young. So you got to get a location going. You got to get some dudes going. Are you gonna like hire some full timers? You think is that the strategy?
Yeah, we're getting. I think I got one that I got lined up, but I'm waiting on. It's one of those things I'm waiting for. If I could get more contracts to where they were set in place, like I have 2 that it's guaranteed every 2 weeks or every quarter, big ones, you know. I only have a handful of those. A lot of them are just with the property management. That's my biggest thing is with the learning curve is I'm getting on a lot more property management companies, which is bringing you bigger jobs, more work without having to market because they own all these properties and you're their go-to guy. They just call you. Well, that's great, but that's per job, you know. So luckily, I have a handful to where, right? Like I just landed like iFly, those skydiving things. They want all their veins washed every 2 weeks.
Wait, tell me what the fuck you just said. You fly those skydiving things.
Yeah, I called iFly. Have you heard of them? They have them over there?
No, are you saying you pilot those smaller planes that people jump out of to skydive? Is that what you just told me?
No. It's a big ass building that you float with a fan. You hover like you're skydiving. You jump into a big swirling tunnel like 300 miles an hour.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what you meant when you said you fly those. Okay, like you jump.
I didn't buy an airplane. I did not buy an airplane.
I was just like, let's get into this. Like, this is some news. So you that's the thing where you like jump in and basically you got a bunch of big high powered fans blowing you up in the air, right?
Exactly. So in the basement they have all these.
Now I'm following you. Now I'm with you.
There you go. Okay. Sorry, I jumped into that quick without explaining.
That I mean,
I know. I mean,
I enjoyed the process.
I've been out of the Midwest for.
Yeah.
I've been out of the Midwest for a while. I forgot I got to slow down my speech and talk real slow when you're talking to a Midwestern. But it's okay.
Hey, you know.
But, no.
treat me where I'm at, Jeff. Treat me where I'm at.
So the basement it's all the fans are on the ceiling, and then it comes down and it exits through the basement. It has these big veins, and they want them washed along with all their piping. It's complicated to explain, but anyways, I landed that, and they want it every 2 weeks, or once a week. I'm sorry, once a week, and then every 6 months at the main center. But which is good. I mean, it's a good price that I got. So like that's locked in. I have a couple of shopping centers, so now I'm trying to get to the point where I'm like, all right, if I take these handful that I know are locked in for at least a year or 2 years, I mean, as long as they keep doing it, unless they cancel. All right, let's rent someplace and get it. You know, if I can get rental per year, which is very rare for a commercial building, you know, it's usually 2 to 3 years rental, which is so you're taking a risk. You know, because you're taking a risk on another mortgage. Period. And that's the scary. That's where you're like, well, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because if I don't,
you're on the hook.
I'd have nowhere to put all my shit.
Settle down. You can't regress after you make that move.
Exactly, 100%. Yes, 100%. So we're at that point. So I'm more worried. I'm gonna worry about the building. I got some things lined up, and I'm going to have a meeting with a couple of the guys that have worked with me that have talked about either part-time or maybe full-time. Insurance is already there for it, so that covers it. But it's just I need somebody that's dedicated, and that's a whole nother. The whole thing with this this generation is it's painful. That's a whole nother. You know what I mean?
I mean, it can be, but I've also run into youngsters that work much harder than older people that think that they deserve something. And so just like anything, it's just you got to find the right person. The hard thing is like, what's the process to find the right person? Because there's plenty of hardworking young people out there, and there's plenty of lazy old people out there, right? Just generation.
You got to excite them. It's like you got to excite them, and if you can excite them to where they don't want to pull their phone out or they don't want to, like I had somebody that was I couldn't get her off her phone. And I was like, hey, look, and we had to sit down. I was like, I know you want to be here. You've been bugging me and you're excited. You want to learn. And I just was like, here's the nozzle, go. Like, here, do what I do. I'm gonna walk you through it. She got so excited off of that. I never saw her pull out a phone from then on for any wash I had. And all she wanted to do was learn new things. And I was like, great. Like, I think she was just bored. And that's what they do when they're nervous. You know, I mean, they pull their phone out because they don't want to make, they feel awkward.
It's a safety blanket. It's like,
let me go back. And to us, it pisses us off when we're 100 feet away yelling something. And all we see is somebody looking down at their phone. So it's a learning curve, especially for me and being in the fire department. If you ever saw that on scene, you'd lose your mind. You can't. In the firehouse, we speak.
Yeah, you're talking like life or death situations. Right. You can't be like, I'm gonna check out this TikTok, Jeff.
I can't scream at this 23-year-old girl, but like, what the fuck are you doing? And she'd be like, what? We're washing houses. Oh,
you could do that, and I know people that have done that, and they don't keep a lot of employees. I do. It's like,
and I don't want that. I want it to be a fun atmosphere. I want everyone to have fun. Enjoy it.
And leadership is just its own goofy challenge because it has nothing to do with pressure washing, right? And I think, depending on your experiences and the teams that you've been on, I think this is where like sports has always come in really handy for me, is just understanding how to work with people that maybe you didn't get to pick, right? Like when you're on a sports team, you didn't get to pick everybody you play with. When you play pickup games, you do, and even then sometimes you don't. But trying to figure out like how to work with and organize people and influence them without maybe even having the authority to do it. In this case, you have the authority to do it. And sometimes that can make it weird too. But like that skill set is so different than just, oh yeah, I know how to put a bunch of pressure washing shit together and go clean some stuff. And so the experiences you've had like throughout your life of maybe working with people that maybe wouldn't be your best buddies, but they don't need to be if they're an employee, right? They just need to have a good attitude and a hard work ethic. They don't even need to know shit about pressure washing. You can teach them all that, but it's goofy trying to find that person and motivate that person. I mean, hopefully you don't have to motivate them. Hopefully they just have a good work ethic and they don't need to be motivated. But I think the number one thing that I see, and I talked about this, I was on Keith Kalfas's podcast recently, and I think the episode just came out, so I just shared it. But the number one thing I see, because we have a recruiting business that I own part of, when people aren't having success recruiting, it's all right here because they're usually telling themselves nobody wants to work hard. Everybody's a no-show, which they totally are. Like there's no-shows all over the place, but it's not because they don't want to work hard. It's because they apply to 40 jobs in 2 seconds. Because it's not like when you and I were growing up and we had to go like hand in an application, right? It's like they go to Indeed or Facebook or wherever and they're like, boop, 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 boop. Like, that's neat, that's neat, that's neat, that's neat, that's neat. And then they forget about it 20 seconds later. And they don't have they're kids, right? They don't have a calendar. They're not organized, right? We weren't either.
I'm not organized. I'm barely organized now.
Yeah. If I had a job interview when I was a kid, my parents would have been driving me there and reminding me of when it was and what it was, right? Like that's who we're working with. That's who we're working with.
Yeah. I mean, they are young. I mean, yeah. I mean, this owning the company taught me things that I've never done, especially organization. And like, because I mean, now it's an investment. Now I can make money off this. Like I can make, heaven forbid I'm late or a no-show or on my own company. Like it would be one, embarrassing, horrible for the company, and two, I'm not going to get paid. Like why would you, so you're more focused. And when you're not the owner, you don't give a shit. Like, I mean, you just, you're dedicated and you want to be good, obviously, but this whole schedule thing, I didn't get until I was older, but so I get that, but
this
I don't know.
Generic Facebook user chiming in here says, I can teach you what to do, can't teach you to care. And then I assume this is the same person, might be a different person. Said, firefighter, can we trust those guys? They need a lot of adult supervision. A lot, LOL. That sounds like maybe it was Zig. I feel like that was some self-deprecation from Zig, maybe, since he's a firefighter.
100%.
Oh no, it's Jason from Florida. He's also what is Jason? What did he say? Saving lives, giving rides. I think that's his tagline. I don't know. He says his name isn't
I don't
showing.
know.
Jason, you're probably
Yeah,
in the private. You're probably in the private Facebook group, which I actually need to. I need to get rid of the private Facebook group. I'm starting a new public one because the private one does this where your name doesn't show up and it doesn't let you share and stuff like that. It's just goofy. So we're gonna ditch that one.
What podcast were you on earlier that I chimed in at?
That was my Turfs Up radio show. It's still home service happy hour.
Oh.
So like this episode that you and I are doing right now and that radio show from earlier will just be in the same podcast stream, just different episodes. I just do 2 episodes every Wednesday. That one is live streamed on the radio and it's more of like a panel and just bullshitting about what's going on. And this is more of 2 folks sitting around drinking some drinks, talking shop, and hanging out.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, I was getting lunch and then I was scrolling and I saw it and that's why I was like, I'm here. And then
I'm here.
You responded immediately. I was like, oh shit, it's actually live. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I was off. I got off. I was like, I don't want to say anything stupid.
You panicked. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
I did. I was
gonna say,
I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands. I immediately exited out right away.
I was gonna be like, Jeff, you're way early, dude. Like, I don't know if you know, like maybe you don't know how to use your calendar because we're not going on until 9 o'clock Eastern tonight.
I'm bad. I was like, I don't know if I have a notification. I go, this is the 3rd time he's asked me to be on the podcast, and I've had to cancel. I was like, if I miss the invite, I'm gonna be pissed. Yeah. And if it's gonna be my fault because
be sad. Well, but we did it. We're here now. Do you have a goal for this year, like a revenue goal, a growth goal, a freedom goal? Maybe freedom's a little pun intended because of your business, freedom here. But what's the goal for you this year?
Shit. Well, is location establishment and getting another rig at least established and on the road by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. Even if I don't have an employee signed on, but I have, my next rig, even if it is, it'll be another Humvee, but it's going to be a non-trailer, 2-door skid in the back, and
how do you put a skid
which is
in
fine.
The back?
And that's a lot easier to do.
Is there room?
Well, I'd buy a 2-door one, and they're just like a truck.
I suppose. Okay.
It's just a little wider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's no different than a 2-door fire truck, I guess. Yes. So I mean, but I have an F-150. I might start with that. We'll go from there. But either way, I want to get another truck that I can focus on in our new location and start working on that. And then depending on how quick that gets, or because like I said, I just landed a couple big things in the last couple of weeks that might pay out in the next around March or so. And then I have some other stuff. I just got added onto the biggest property management company in Maryland. And they kind of were like, hey, we got your info from whoever, and we own, 3/4 of the properties in Maryland. I don't know, whatever it is. And they're like, you're going to be our guy.
They start name dropping on you. They're like, we own this.
And then in the DMV, they just start, I mean, and I was like, all right, cool. And they're, I'm in the DMV, could go from PA all the way to Virginia, which is, I go, I'm not driving an hour and a half for, a front house wash,
so a $400 wash. I'm coming for a $400.
Yeah, exactly. He goes, well, 95% of our stuff is all commercial buildings. I said, okay, that's fine. So, I mean, that could pay off big. I don't, like I said, I haven't done any work with him yet, but he seemed pretty excited about it. So I'm like, so it might be a big year for us. Hopefully it is a big year, and we get to the stage. I would like to at least hit close to 3, high 2s.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because I mean, we're at, I don't know, I want to say like 140 this year for our second year, and it was good, but we're paying a lot. We're buying a lot of stuff. We're putting back into the business. We're doing, I'm buying doubles of everything. It's like buy another pump, bought another pump. Like, buy a 12-volt pump, buy 3 more, buy hose, all the fittings. I just don't like to worry. Like, I'd just rather have
when inventory. You have the cash flow stock up so you don't have downtime later.
with a lot of guys, some people, I have another job. Luckily, I have a lot of days off. I only work 9 days a month, so I have the opportunity to where, let's say, I don't get any work for the whole year, I'm okay. Like, I mean, I have my career as a
Mhm.
fireman and my wife, and I know my owning the company isn't substantial as far as whether I make it living. I mean,
Yeah, it's not do or
so
die for you.
that's a good. All right. I mean, we're starting to get to the point where we're getting bigger and more invested and everything. Where it will become dire if I screw. If everything imploded. I mean, but
Yep.
and I feel for the guys that they all go full in, and that's their only moneymaker. And then you get to these like winter months, like now.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Like this sucks. But
It
I don't
sucks
know. I
like
mean,
trying to get a bush light out of this beer fridge when it's in the back and it's tucked next to another bush light and it's like nuts to butts in there. It's ice cold though. It's ice cold. Yeah, I talked to
I don't
another
even
guy.
have.
I talked to another guy today that was in the same spot, kind of like a little over 150, I think he was, and was trying to figure out income wise what it made sense for them to do, like shooting for 300 ish.
Right.
And I think he was going to try to do it without a shop, but it was in the same spot of like, what's the next rig? And he was going to go
Right.
van. He's not, he doesn't have to do Humvees. Where like you do, you're stuck with it.
I'm stuck with it. It was
yeah,
a great bad idea.
yeah. Now, but it's so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool.
know.
How are you not going to do it? But
Right.
I guess my question for you is, and he and I were kind of talking about this earlier today. My question for you is, how do you need to get more residential just to get enough cash flow to like stabilize everything? Because commercial jobs, oftentimes, like cash flow wise, they suck. You're waiting 30, 60, 90 days sometimes. Are you going to do more like marketing to keep a baseline of work to keep at least one truck
Honestly,
busy all the time?
no. Honestly, my residential is always busy to where my cash flows. That's what makes me. I can during the warmer months from probably I'd say probably March till November.
Okay.
I don't worry about money. Like it's everything's being paid, everything's good. If I need to take some money, I have it to whatever, and that's mostly because of residential. The commercial stuff gets paid when it gets paid, and it's nice. It's awesome.
Yep. Yep.
So I think the next step, I'm not worried. I think the residential is only going to get bigger or it's going to climb, which I mean, knock on wood. Even with this year, we dropped our prices a little bit because some people, I don't know what happened, but like our first year, we were at me and Zig talked, and I was kind of doing the prices he was doing in Michigan, which were higher than what I was noticing here in Maryland, and I was booming. And then this year, like I would
People
send in
got
an
a little more
estimate, and
sensitive.
people were like, it was like I sent in a quote for like $1 million every time. I was like, decline, decline, decline. I was like, what is happening? So I had to drop my prices, and then leveled out, and it worked. I'm like, it is what it is. But we in the end we doubled our profit margin, so our net.
Yeah.
So which is good. So the residential is I'm not worried about that because I think we've made a big enough of a name and we're seen enough and we market ourselves in this general area within the eastern side of Maryland. I mean, I'm not traveling. So, like for instance, we're right on the border of PA, right? So I had a company in PA call me, and they're like, "Hey, we have a customer that he's on a mountain and he's got a straight up driveway, and we have to bring our own water. He's on a well, and he wants a house wash and a roof wash and his patio done." And he goes, "None of our trucks can make it up this driveway." And the guy's like, somebody texted me, is like, "I know this idiot that has a Humvee and military trailers for all of his rigs." So this guy calls me. Yeah, this guy calls me, and I'm like, all right. I mean, I was like, yeah, but I got to charge more. And he goes, the guy doesn't care. Like, he goes, whatever extra you want to add for you driving from Baltimore area to PA, which is right across the line, but it was like I said, it's on a mountain. And I was like, all right, so I only charged like an extra $400 or $500, whatever. I mean, it wasn't ridiculous because it wasn't like a 4-hour drive. It was like a maybe 40-minute drive.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm winding up this hill, and I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. And I get this guy's driveway, and it is fucking straight up. Like, it is straight up. And I'm like, I have 400 gallons and like 50 gallons of SH. And so I'm like at like a couple tons, not including all my other equipment.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, I was like, this truck was made to do this. Like, and I'm sweating. I'm thinking I'm
we're
gonna kill myself.
We're about to test this, and we might be rolling back.
Right.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
moving liquid. That shit moves, man.
Right,
and
exactly.
It costs
So
everything to move.
I mean, and no joke, like I'm on the street where it's like a drop off to my left, and it goes up the driveway to this guy's house. So I just put it on idle, and it just let it climb, and it's like you could hear everything like downshift, and then it just like a roller coaster, nice and smooth, the smoothest it's ever driven since I've owned it. And it pulled it all the way up, and the guy was at the top of the hill, like, holy shit, man! Gave me like $100 tip. He's like, I've never seen anything like this. Great. I was like, good, because I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna fall off this mountain over here. So I appreciate that. I was like, you know what? Never call me back. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the experience. So, but yeah, no, I mean, so it pays off sometimes. But
yeah.
I don't even know what I was talking about then. I gotta say
it's a sweet shtick. Jason's throwing some commentary in here. I want to hit his notes here. He said he's having success with part-time guys, super good success with lights, got a bonus structure that got tips and super happy customers. And he's down in Florida firefighting, hired firefighters that he knows. So to like that network is a great resource. And using telephone system to build the roster, which I know Zig kind of has done the same thing in Michigan. It sounds like you've got a little bit of a similar thing because you guys got the brethren.
right.
Let's see here, and then he said that when we were talking pricing, he said you can get $275 to $330 per man hour in Florida, which I think is like that's damn good in Florida because Florida pricing is tough. There's so many freaking power washing people down there. It's freaking tough. So some of that's depending on which neighborhoods you're in and your efficiency, right? Dollars per man hour goes way up when you're more efficient too.
So like my parents are in the Villages in Central Florida, and like can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. There was a little delay, so I was just waiting you out.
So like my parents, back to that Florida comment, I didn't understand exactly what he was saying by the 275 to 330 per man. But like my parents are in the Villages in Central Florida, and they pay like $80 to have their like 3-bedroom house completely done, soft washed and everything. And they asked me like what I charge. I was like, well, I'm like 15 to 18 cents per square foot, and which even on their house it would have came out to like 3 something or whatever. It's not a big house. And they were like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, well, Florida prices are because it's so saturated with companies. And I mean, I understand, but I feel like it's a lot of the companies in Florida, they're all trying to screw each other over and just bring it down and down and down, which is, I think it's just, and that's what oversaturation is with the business. And I get that.
Well, I think that's what Jason was saying is he can get $275 to $330 per man hour, just focusing on the right neighborhoods and the right value proposition. Yeah. Because I think your folks just have the $99 guy washing their house, right? And that guy exists everywhere. Somebody's always going to fill that role, but they'll never be able to scale a business because they're only charging enough for them to go out and they're treating it like a job. They're charging enough for them to go out and make beer money that day, but they're not charging enough to actually grow a business. They can't pay for infrastructure. They can't pay for good equipment. They can't pay for good employees. They can only pay that. Like if they're doing $80, this is the math they're doing is I'm charging $80 to go to a 2-hour job. I'm making $40 an hour. That's way more money than I make in my job now. So I'm going to go do that, which like, I'm not even going to explain how stupid that is, but we all know that doesn't work, right? And how stupid that is. So I think there's always going to be that person out there, and that person, your parents, my parents too, are not our customers. They're just not, right?
Well, I mean, they're
there's always going to be like that decision of what's the right price to pay for the thing you get. Like the dude in Pennsylvania who hired you is like, I need that dude, right? I need the dude that can figure out how to get the hell up here, and that's worth an extra $400 or $500, even though he's only 40 minutes away. Like 40 minutes, some people don't even charge a chip charge for that. That's not that. I mean, for you with a Humvee, that's
no, and usually I don't. Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't charge a chip charge unless I'm over an hour, and it depends. If it's a big enough job, I won't. But I mean, because it's not that bad of a drive. I mean, it's like 10 miles a gallon, 7, 6.
Right, yeah, 5.
As long as it's making me money, I don't look at the needle. I just fill it up. It could be less than that.
Jason said, if you need equipment, it's buy one, get one here in Florida with the $99 rig guys, because they just always go out of business. They always end up going out of business.
Well, that's the biggest thing is like I'm close to retiring from the firehouse, and we want to move south. And I'm terrified of going to Florida because it's so saturated, but we've been really looking into like South Carolina. I don't know how saturated South Carolina is, but maybe South Carolina. I've watched some things. I think they're pretty busy, but I don't think they're as saturated as Florida or North Carolina. Like I have a lot of family in North Carolina.
Yeah, I think the Carolinas are good. I think even like there's parts of Georgia that are good. You slowed down on me.
So I mean, Georgia, that's another one. I mean, Georgia would be good, but am I back?
Yeah.
It's because Roadhouse stopped.
You're doing kung fu stuff now where your mouth moves and then later the sound comes. But now it picked back up. Now it caught back up.
Okay. So it's because the movie stopped.
Jason said, Florida's full. Sorry, me and Jeremy Brook got it locked down.
There it is.
That's fun. Yeah. So what? Let's talk about the bar for a little bit. What's this bar that you're going to build? Let's get to the good stuff. You still got the wood? You still got the wood like ready to go, or did the wood get ruined from the water?
No, actually, luckily I had it on stands, laying flat so they wouldn't warp. So the water went underneath the wood, so the wood's fine. But I had to stand it all up. So essentially, like I said, it's going to be a speakeasy, Murphy doors, Murphy bookshelves to get in. So I just have to frame the walls.
Do you have the
going to do about a 10-foot long bar.
Do you personally have the skill set to build a bookshelf Murphy door, or is that something you like? How do you even design that? Is it just like the door is the book that you pull is somehow linked to a doorknob, or how do you do it?
Yeah. I don't have I used to be a carpenter. I could frame the doors, or I could frame the walls in the bar, but there's a company called Murphy Doors, and you buy them. Well, they come with the hinges, the special hinges, and I'm buying that shit. I'm gonna get the next big job I get.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be my Murphy door job. So.
You should have just lied to us and sounded cooler, but instead now we all know how to get a Murphy door. I'm gonna put a Murphy door on my bed so my kids stop trying to come in.
No, it's my ideas. Sometimes my ideas are cool, but I'm not gonna take the credit for an actual Murphy. So look up Murphy doors when you're done with this. Well, you'll get what I'm talking about.
I'm tempted to do it right now, but I don't want to steal all of our bandwidth. Then we'll both be laggy as hell, and we won't even be able to talk to each other.
Am I still lagging?
It's just random. It's random, so I don't know when it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, oh wait, I just said a thing, but it's been 2 seconds, and Jeff's face hasn't changed. So
I just feel like it's something to do with Zig. He's sabotaging us because I'm not talking about deer hunting and him not shooting a deer for 2 hours while he's laying in the mud.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He had a good year this year, though. He had some cool bucks. Props to Zig.
No, that's good. That's good. I did. My buddy did. So, what's that?
It says about fucking time.
So it's true. My buddy killed 2. He got 2 the other about like 2 months ago. He's on my shift, and I went to go pick it up. He had it processed. It's like he only charges me $100 for a whole deer to be processed.
Oh damn!
So damn. Yeah. What's in Michigan? I mean, he said that's normal here. Like $100 for a whole deer processed.
I have no idea what it is because I've processed all of my own deer for my entire life. I've never once taken a deer.
But you
I've
do
taken
it all?
Yeah, I do the whole thing. I process it all myself. I used to, like what I grew up doing is we'd butcher the entire deer, skin it, butcher it all. We'd grind the muscle that we wanted for like burger, for just grind.
Right.
And we'd cut out steaks. And then anything that we wanted to get made into like brats or venison, like summer sausage or sticks or anything like that, we would take that to a butcher shop. But in the last couple of years, my buddy Ben Smith started getting into it, getting into bow hunting. And he was like, why don't we just do it all of ourselves? And I was like, dude, I don't know the first thing about like making the rest of this stuff. Like grinding it, not hard to do. Grind it, weigh out a pound, vac seal in a package, right? Once you know how to butcher it, it's just like, here's that muscle that tastes good. Cut that muscle out, put it in a bag, vac seal it. I can do all that. Like I've probably done this with 200 deer, 300 deer. I at least this year I shot 8. Like it's what we eat. I have 3 freezers in my basement. It's like what we eat. So and then like, and Ben doesn't love processing the deer. So half the time he shoots when I'm just like, when are we processing this thing, Ben? Like I'll come up, we'll do this thing. So, but so he's very much like, why don't we do it ourselves? And then 2 seconds later, okay, I just bought like $3,000 worth of all the shit to do this ourselves. Like he's the dude that like asks a question, and before you answered, he's like, "We're doing it."
He's 5 steps ahead of you. Yeah, he already took the loan out. He's good to go. Yeah.
He's like, I just binged, like in 3 minutes, I binged 12 videos on exactly what we need, and I bought it all. And it's great. Like we spend 3 days doing it all ourselves. So the cool thing is, like he and I can say nobody else has ever touched our deer meat. When we go get deer, like it's he and I, and it's all of our meat.
That's cool.
And we killed it. We dragged it out of the woods. We butchered it. We cut it all up. We've started making our own like seasoning blends. The first year we like bought all the seasoning blends, but then you're like, oh, it could be better this way, or it could be better. Then we started just making our own. So it's like, it's all natural. It's all natural.
I'm not that level. I could care less about, I'll kill it, but I won't be able to process it. But my buddy, he just, I don't know why he gets it so cheap, but he's like $100. He'll come to the firehouse and be like, I got 6 does. And he goes, it's $100 deer. Yeah. He goes, tell me how many ground beefs you want, how many steaks, how many loins, how many whatever. And he goes, he'll write it down, and it's $100 no matter what you're doing. Like, and I'm like, it's an amazing deal, you know?
That is
so the other day, right? The other day I picked up the second one he had processed for me. And this was right before my basement flooded, which blew a fuse. So I come home with a full cooler of meat, and I opened my garage door, and it was Amityville Horror of blood dripping out of my freezer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, it looked like gallons of blood dripping down my freezer. It was bad. And I was like, well, so I had to clear that out, throw all that away.
Redo.
Then I walked down to my basement.
Was it just like, did the freezer just go? Was it like,
because so whoever designed this freaking house has a GFI plug down here in the basement by the floor.
That's kind of weird.
So like the water, it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, it blows constantly. And any type of water, you know, you have like outlets on the side of your house and like on your porch.
Yeah.
For like Christmas lights. And they have covers, but mine, I don't know if the covers have a leak or whatever. So anytime water hits that, it blows this GFI. Even though my fuse box has all GFI fuses, which you don't need GFI plug. It's so goddamn
double GFI. You got the double, triple.
I got the double, triple, and everything just blows. All the power blows constantly.
Yeah.
The fact that this goddamn theater works is amazing.
It's like you got a bunch of high school kids in there just overreacting to shit.
It's exactly. Everyone's just flipping switches, and I'm losing money.
That's what you got going on. Oh, now you really froze up. Now you're frozen and it's frozen.
Now you're back.
Now you're back. Kind of.
I'm back. There you go.
$100 a deer. Can you hear me? $100 a deer is nothing. It's a steal.
Yeah.
You're making out good on that.
That's what I thought.
I always laugh because awaringly, if that's a word, I'm well aware that between the cost of the tags and the cost of the gas and the cost of the gear and any number of other things in addition to that, like me shooting 8 deer still means my deer costs $50 a pound. Like it's just like by the processing equipment and the processing seasonings and the time and whatever else, it's like that meat is worth $50 a pound. And it doesn't crack me up. It annoys me, but I kind of laugh at it when people are like, "Oh, dude, can you send me some of that?" And I'm just like, "No, I can't. I won't. Like, this is to feed my family."
Right.
Now, like when I have people come in to go ice fishing, I'm like all weekend, I'm gonna be like making them some brats and I'm gonna be making them some venison bacon.
Right.
I'm gonna be making some of this. Like, I love cooking it for people, but I'm not just gonna send it to you. Like, you're gonna fuck it up.
Right.
And I spent too much money and worked too hard and sat up in a tree for way too long to just send that shit out. If you want brats, go buy them from the store. If you want my brats, you got to come hang out.
Yeah, my buddy's heart's bigger than his brain, and he sits on his back porch in PA, and he'll see a deer, and he'll just walk out and shoot it. Yeah, and so he goes, "Oh, I got a deer," and he'll bring it to the firehouse and skin it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, all right."
That's
He goes, "Do you want it?" I'm like, I guess I'll take it." Yeah. I mean, I use it all year long.
Yeah, it's kind of like you could have a boat, or you could just go in your buddy's boat, and it's way
Go on
better.
your buddy's boat. Yeah, exactly. Like if Zig ever invited me to go deer hunting, I'm just gonna wear the outfit and drink with him. I'm not gonna shoot anything.
Yeah, I'll be at camp. You guys let me know when you bring me a deer back.
Yeah, I'll be 100%. Exactly. I might show up and you'll be yelling because I'm too loud, and I'll be like, I don't care.
Every good camp needs a camp chef. Every good camp needs a camp chef.
I can cook some tacos with some deer meat.
There you go.
And some
what? So I want to get back to this bar because I'm trying to I want to picture the speakeasy in my mind. You got the Murphy door. Do you have a design? Right. Is it like, are there couches in there? Is there like a high top bar with stools by it? What do you all got going on in there? What's the drink?
I don't know. I don't even know if this will work. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see it. All right, hold on. Let me turn some lights on. Hold on.
Do you have Roadhouse? Do you already have Roadhouse playing in there?
Probably. There might be, but
might as well.
All right. Let's see.
Taking us on the tour for all you podcast listeners. We're going on tour. Oh, I like the slidey doors. Those are cool already.
So those doors are going. So that's all storage room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all right, let me unplug. If we had a Wi-Fi problem before, we're gonna have a Wi-Fi problem now.
He's taking us for a walk. We'll see. We'll test the Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, we're already disconnected. What did he do? We're gone. We're about to get the unveiling. Maybe he'll plug back in and get back on here. While I do a Busch Light burp. Oh, what's up, anybody who's watching? What do you guys got going on? I saw Jason Hefner. Now, Jason, I don't know what you did. Maybe you're like watching somewhere else. Maybe you jumped on a different stream of this thing. But I know it's you now, and you said getting your average ticket to 600 to 675 will get you to 250. I actually think Jeff's average ticket is probably like pushing that. I think he charges a good price. But I think he's maybe just got to fill up the schedule a little bit more. So we'll see. Oh, here he is. He's back. Yeah, that didn't work at all. That didn't work.
I'm not going to touch the computer anymore. I'm not computer illiterate.
No, you are computer illiterate. You're not computer literate.
Yeah, I'm illiterate.
To demonstrate your illiteracy. That exactly. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways, yes, there's going to be a bar in there. We'll do that. We'll do that later. I'll buy something expensive to podcast appropriately.
Yeah, that's what I always get the nicest stuff. I'm all about really expensive, having good, high quality stuff for podcasting, which is why I have 4 Busch Lights instead of 3.
Exactly. So, but yes, my ticket is generally, my minimum is 250 on busy months. Can you hear me?
Yep. I got you. Yeah. I think
the biggest thing.
We bumped ours up to like 300 or 350 up in Minnesota, but also kind of to your point earlier is because our season's a little bit goofier, we do need to
Yeah.
charge a little bit higher, like per square foot, because we are shut down for 4 months out of the year where we're just doing nothing. So I think we charge a little higher square footage price. We're way less saturated, and we're shut down for a while. So when we are working, we got to pay for that time too.
Right.
For ice fishing, we got to pay for ourselves for when we're out ice
Well, that's the
fishing.
problem is you guys want to do too much during the winter.
Just
right.
Although, I mean, like, I was talking to my business partner here in Minneapolis today, and I was like, yo, man, should we like start going out? Like, normally we won't be cleaning again till mid-March. We won't be pressure washing until mid-April, but we wouldn't even be like window cleaning until mid-March, and we'd be stomping around in 2 feet of snow then. And right now it's end of January. It should be well below zero. It should be 3 feet of snow, blizzards, and instead today it was in the 50s, and there's no snow on the ground.
I did 2 house washes today and 2 yesterday. Just because some people just don't care. They're like, yeah, come wash it. I go, if it's sunny out and above 39, I'll do it. Because whatever.
Yeah, and not windy. It sucks when it's cold and windy, and you're like spraying cold water around, and then it's landing, and you're just like getting a bath of SH.
Yeah, exactly. And it's in your eyes, then you're miserable, then you're pissed off, and it's not fun anymore. Yeah. No. So if I can make $500 a day after 2 hours in the 40s, I don't care. That's fine.
It's a good day.
So
just wear some gloves. When it's 40 here, it's hilarious. And you know this from growing up in Michigan. When it's 40 here, windows down, 10. T-shirt, like hooded sweatshirt at most. I mean, it was 50 today, and I didn't think about a jacket, hat, gloves. It's 50, and it's like hooded sweatshirt, and jeans are too much. I should have been wearing shorts and flip-flops today at 50.
I walked my daughter to the bus stop today, and it was in the 40s, and I had shorts on and a hoodie, and people were like, "What's wrong with you?" I mean, I was like, "Well, that's just, I don't know. It's comfortable."
Michigan, man. Yeah. I do that, like, if I could pick a temperature / outfit, I would say temps in the 60s. Nice little like crisp, like highs in the upper 60s, lows in the 50s, hooded sweatshirt, shorts. That's perfect. Perfect setting. It's as good as it gets.
Is my camera still lagging?
A little bit. Not too bad.
On my side, it's like 15-second delay.
That's creepy then too, because then you're looking at yourself and you're like, oh man,
it's freaking me out. That's freaking me out there. Because it's literally on my side, it looks like I'm in slow motion, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, the video is super lagged here. I think maybe like the audio's not that lagged actually. Oh man, I can edit your microphone. Oh, sweet. I can change other people's microphone volumes. Here, talk. I want to mess with this.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I can make you way louder or way quieter. That's good to know. Rob jumped on my show earlier today, and he was like way too loud for everybody else. And I was just like, I don't know how to turn this guy down. Like, he's just so much louder than everybody. But now I know.
Really? I'm on a ToughBook laptop that I have installed in my Humvees. Because that's what we're using the fire trucks, and it's the only laptop I know how to use. So, like I said, I'm a roughneck. I don't know. We don't play on computers a lot. I can do my phone. 99% of everything I do is on my phone. Yeah. I don't get on laptops at all.
Well, I mean, and it's, what'd you say? It's a tough neck? Tough something?
What? Roughneck?
Roughneck? Yeah. Tough neck? Yeah. I like, it just sounds like it's named for you. It just sounds like it's right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest reason why I even started bringing out my laptop again. So I put ToughBooks in the Humvees because I could do GPS and Google Earth. I could measure for commercial stuff on site and whatever. And it works great. But I never needed it for everything else. All my marketing, estimates, invoices, I use Market App, and it's all on my phone. But now I have a lot of government bids that I'm on. And when you open their website, it's all cut in half. No matter which way you turn your phone, unless you're on an actual computer, you can't
it's just not formatted.
Oh my God, it's a complete nightmare. So that's something else new. Speaking of, I'm on Maryland's government site, so they do a lot of, they just bidded a lot of water towers, and that was on Heath Phelps' website. About somebody brought up the underbidding on that, which was really low, like extremely low. Somebody really went, a couple companies went way too low on that, and I think they're going to be very surprised.
They're going to lose their asses.
They're going to be, if they're happy with it, they're going to be a disaster. But so I don't know. So that's new. A lot of the government contract things new this year. So that's what is another thing that might take us to the next stage as far as where we grow.
Do you think you're going to get into the water tower game? Are you eyeballing the water tower game? Is that something?
I started eyeballing it for exterior only, but I have a partner that a painting company that hires me for all of their house paints. Like whenever they have to paint a house, they hire me to wash it, and they just say, "Hey, whatever you normally charge for house wash, we just want it clean before we paint it."
Yep.
Well, he's getting bigger, and likewise, and I brought up this whole water tower thing, and I go, there's a couple bids on here that are asking for exterior washing, but interior washing and painting. And he goes, yeah, we can do that. Like, he goes, if you just subcontract us out. I'm like, that's a great idea. So I changed my portfolio to washing and painting, because if they have a big, and I just found a bridge one that's washing and painting bridges, just because I added painting on to my portfolio. And he's like, oh, we could do that. Like, he goes, that's big money. And I'm like, right. Well, let me know what your pricing is, because I have no idea what to add on. If I know what the price the bridge for me, but I don't know what the price for you.
It's 11,000.
Is it like I buy 3 more trucks and a couple of people? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So
why not?
And he said yes, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
Get it.
But
go ahead.
Our next rig is probably a commercial rig. That's another thing we're gonna look in, is getting a commercial rig, a deuce and a half.
Ooh,
I know it's funny, but yeah,
a deuce and a half. Is that a 2,500? Is that what cool people call a 2,500?
No, it'd be a military truck, like you saw in Rambo, with a flatbed on.
That's even cooler, and I still don't understand it, but okay. Cool.
I'll send you a picture of it when we get off here. But yeah,
I just all that when you said deuce and a half, the only thing that went through my brain, this is just who I am and how stupid I am. I was like, sounds like a big shit. Like that's like when I have a huge dump, that's what I'm gonna start calling it. When I have a huge dump, it's just a deuce and a half.
Deuce and a half. Yeah, you better text me and be like, hey,
extra.
I'm doing deuce and a halfers.
I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah. I'll be like, are you texting me again while you're taking a shit, asshole?
Yeah, that's why I didn't call you. That's why I didn't call you. I was trying to be respectful.
So. Great. Oh yeah. So like I said, we got a lot to think about. And that was another point that I wanted to bring up, was the government contracts, which is a pain in the ass for anyone looking to get into it. It is extremely hard to do the paperwork on that. I don't know if you've done it before or not, but
we haven't done any of them. We haven't got into that game. I don't think we would shy away from it. We just never focused on it.
I started doing some. I had a job where I did there's a guy out here that owns Monster Tree Trimming. Real nice guy. He hired me to wash all his trucks. I'm like, all right, well, I've never done that before. I can buy all the cleaner. Well, So I did all of his. Yeah, fleet washing. So I Googled it and double checked with some good, on websites of good cleaners to use. And so while I was sitting there, because they had a horrible water hookup, it took me forever, and I started just doing my government website stuff, which was a pain in the ass. But they have some huge contracts, and if you do it right, you could really set yourself up to the next level. But the problem is, if you're not ready to go to the next level, and they say, hey, congratulations, you got this bid, you got 6 months, a couple months to get this thing done, and you're going to be like, oh, I got to do an entire airfield, like, and I have 2 trucks, like, they're going to be like, yeah, you're done, So it's a fun and exciting part of it, but it's scary too. So you got to be careful where you're bidding.
You got to be on your game. You got to be on your game.
Yeah.
But I think that those types of things too are what you need to push yourself to do to get to that level. You need to stretch, you need to push, you need to learn new stuff. So you're going to screw stuff up. It's going to happen. But nobody goes and does that thing and is like, well, I regret doing that. They're all like, yeah, we screwed it up, but I'm super glad that we learned what we learned and we figured this out. And now we can do this. And now we know how to do that. It's like, you just got to push. You just got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. Do you think that as you continue to grow, as the commercial side, does that become your like sweet spot and your bread and butter? Is that more fun and more interesting to you than doing the resi stuff?
I'd like to become a more commercial slatted company, but I'd like to have just residential rigs as well. I mean, that's like, eating your cake and whatever it's called,
But having your cake and eating it too, I think is
having your cake and eating it, yeah, that's what I was going for. And
you can tell I'm a podcast host by the way I know such things.
Yeah, because as soon as I thought about a quote that I wanted to say, I completely
immediately you're like on the show, you're just like, now what the hell?
I started looking at myself in the video, and I was like, I have no idea what I was going to say. Yeah. So that was the quote, but I'd like if I could get a couple trucks doing residential and then one main truck, like big commercial truck, or two for commercial, that'd be great. But I mean, we're talking, that's my 5-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I got another couple years to see where that goes. So
I think you're gonna stick with the Hummers. You gonna stick with the Hummers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If I can buy, I mean, this thing, honestly, so I bought it for $20,000 from the government. I sent it to Military Truck Works to Mike Hoffman. He owns all he does is Humvees. And what you do is you send him the Humvee, or he'll buy it from the government, and he'll go, what do you want done? And I was like, hey, so for me, I go, it's going back to work, replace anything that normally breaks on these things, change all the fluids, seals, everything, paint it gray, battleship gray, and put aftermarket seats in it. I go, other than that, it's just going back to work. I go, the thing only has 3,000 miles on it, and it had sand in it still. So
is that normal that they only have like a few thousand miles on them?
Yeah, they usually have between 3,000 and 10,000 minimum. Yeah.
How much did you say they weigh?
But how much they weigh?
Yeah.
Depending on if it's 2-door or 4-door slant or whatever, about 4,000 to 7,000.
I'm trying to figure out how I can get
4,700 to 5,700.
Yeah, I want to get this baby out ice fishing. I want to roll out there in a Humvee.
What you could do is, if you bought a 2-door, I'll send you some links. If you bought a 2-door one, they're the lightest ones, and they would be great because you put the reels on the wheel well. The wheel wells are, I think, 2 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
So you just put a board on there, bolt it down, then just have your rods and just sit in the truck. It's got horrible heat, you can just open the floorboard and just drop your rod down there.
I would just you'd be able to pull the biggest fish house with it. You pull a big ass fish house out there with it.
Okay. I grew up in Michigan. They're not that big. I don't care what story you're telling me.
So one of the ones that we've rented was 36 feet long.
What? The
fish house.
Oh, the house. I thought you were talking about a fish. I was like, no, they're not that. Oh,
not fish house.
I was like,
I'm gonna pull.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it can pull shit. I mean, it can pull anything. I mean,
just be a badass looking rig pulling out with like just a dually fish house coming out behind a Hummer.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Probably, I don't think you would have gotten that rig out this winter. Maybe on 19 inches, you'd have been able to get it out. Like we had 19 good inches last weekend. That would have been the only weekend.
Yeah. What do they say? What is it? 14 inches for vehicles?
I'm kind of like, you can take a F-150 out on 12. The risk is like 12 might be 10 over here. And so 12 is enough to drive pretty much any vehicle out on. Once you start getting up to diesels and bigger trucks, you kind of need to be pushing 14. And then when you're pulling a fish house out, for me, like I have an F-150, but I have the crew cab extended, not like the short bed, just like standard bed with a topper. Right. But then you have all your shit in the back, right? I mean, like that back is got to have an extra 1,000 pounds in it with all my stuff, like 2 generators, propane tanks, gas tanks, water, a few beers. There's just a few beers. not like 3 cases of beer or anything like that.
No. Okay,
Usually it's just like 2.5. And then you've got a 4,000 to 6,000 pound fish house that you're towing behind you, and so you're probably rolling out 10,000 pounds. So like 14 inches spread out across 3 or 4 axles, depending on how many axles you got on your fish house. So it spreads the weight out a little bit, but 14 is like, I'm not going out on anything less than that. That's the cutoff for me.
What lake are you on?
We usually go up on Red Lake, which is northern Minnesota, like an hour south of the Canadian border. Either there or Lake of the Woods.
Have you ever gone to Lake Michigan? Or
I grew up fishing Lake Michigan. I haven't ice fished it, but I grew up salmon fishing it out of Sturgeon Bay. So I'm familiar with the guy. We have a salmon boat out there that actually I don't charter it, but it's a charter boat that we own half of. And the guy, it's my dad and his buddy who's the charter captain, and they own it together. And he will guide ice fishing too on the bay side. But it's so goofy out there because it's like, yeah, we got 8 inches today. And then the next day, they're like, oh, it all blew out. And 12 people got stranded with their, snowmobiles or 4-wheelers or whatever. Like the 8-inch chunk just broke off and floated away. And so now we don't have any ice again. It's just so funny. Like,
I remember when I went home to Detroit for Christmas, Superior wasn't even frozen yet in December.
This year?
This year. Supposedly Superior, it wasn't frozen enough to where you could actually go on it.
We usually do an ice fishing trip over between Christmas and New Year's, and there was only like 10 inches. We couldn't get.
That's weird. That's really weird.
We luckily got a cold snap right after that built like 5 inches really quick, and then we were able to get out 2 weeks later. And then what we were there during the cold snap when we were packing up, that wind chill was -39, so we were building some ice then.
Right.
And it was 19 inches the last time we were up there. But yeah, I've never seen such a warm winter around here. It's crazy. It's crazy.
No, it's been. I mean, especially in Michigan, because in Maryland, like we said, we're used to it here. But I went home and I took my daughter back to Michigan for Christmas, thinking, all right, we're gonna have a white Christmas because it hasn't snowed here in 3 years, and it was like 64 degrees, and I'm like, why did I drive 8 hours to be back in Michigan?
Yeah,
with it being 64 degrees up.
Christmas was goofy up here.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I mean, horrible if you wanted snow and cold weather, but if you like modest.
Well, when you got a 5-year-old kid, little girl that's like, I want snow, and I'm like, well, let's not stand. Yeah, and I'm like, I know where there's a lot of snow, Michigan, and it rained every single day from December 20th until like 27th. Every single day.
It was nuts.
And I was like, this is horrible. And then we drove back to Maryland and it snowed.
Got you your snow for Christmas.
So I had to drive. I had to drive all the way back from fucking Michigan to Maryland with an entire bed full of toys. It was a nightmare. I don't want to talk about it, but
it drives me nuts about Christmas. Like just all the shit you end up with, and you're just like, what now? Like, we're just going to have this stuff for a little while, and then we're eventually have to throw it away. But now I got to like keep it for a period of time and act like we care about it. And it's just a bunch of garbage.
That's the thing. Is like, I need her to go to school. I already have an entire pile of stuff. As soon as she goes to school, probably tomorrow, I'm throwing out.
Yeah.
I'm just got a gigantic bag and it's all going in the trash because she hasn't even touched it since she opened it up. And it's just stupid stuff that my brother-in-laws and everyone got her. I'm like, why did you buy this? Like, this is dumb. Buy her a tree in Africa. That would be probably better than, because you can't touch it and ruin it.
Get her a gun. Get her a case of beer.
Absolutely.
Get her something I would use.
There's something she can learn. Get her, I don't know, get her a keyboard. I don't even care about that. I can mute that. Yeah. Don't get her a stuffed animal. I don't need another stuffed animal in the house.
Yeah, you acquire a lot of plastic.
I'm looking at a pile of about 60 stuffed animals in my basement. They're just bothering me.
You can turn it into like a leaf pile, just like you would make a leaf pile and jump into the pile of leaves. You can just make a pile of stuffed animals and jump into it.
I did. Well, she caught me piling them up into a bag the other day and had a complete meltdown. I mean, meltdown. And I was like, I'm just putting them in storage.
Yeah.
So they went to the firehouse. They went to the firehouse dumpster, and she hasn't even noticed yet. So
I wanted to save them for you. somewhere else.
Yeah. You got a lot of kids. I donated them to a bunch of kids that need them in the
Yeah.
dumpster.
In the dumpster.
So,
It is amazing how much just garbage piles up. How much of that crap.
it's
Like,
bad.
yay Christmas. Yay Christmas.
Yes. Oh my God, that was the other thing. How much, like, did you notice Christmas was a lot more expensive this year?
Yeah, I did a better job of buying shit proactively this year, which I don't know why. It was very much by accident, but
Yeah.
I did notice it when things got closer to Christmas. But like that didn't surprise me because of the goofy ass inflation we've had. But I was more on my game this year than I have been any year past. Usually my wife is basically Santa, right? It's like any
Right.
Christmas related thing, she's all over it. Like, I don't even know what my nephews are going to get until they open it. I have no idea what the hell happened. I think this year
Right.
I might have wrapped more presents than she did. I was a freaking elf. I was working my ass off. I was finding sweet deals. I was buying stuff in advance. I was
Right.
I was a thoughtful son of a bitch this year, Jeff.
No. I
I don't
thought
know.
it was my wife was buying stuff, and then I was buying. Our problem was lack of communication, and I think that's what happened.
I've never seen or heard of such a thing in a marriage. I'm not familiar with it.
It was well, yeah, at one friend to another. It happens, and it's it'll cost you a lot of money. I promise. Is I was like, we started things just started getting delivered because we're all delivered. We knew we were going to go to Michigan to my brother-in-law's, and so she's shipping shit to Michigan, and I'm shipping everything else to Michigan. And my brother-in-law is texting me. He's like, "Hey, what is going on? Like, you guys are like sending hundreds of things for Christmas." And I was like, "Well, they're for Hannah." I go, "What do you mean? Like, how much stuff is showing up?" And he's like there's doubles of things, and like he goes, he sent me a picture and of the back room where all these gifts or all these boxes were, and I was like, okay, I got to sit down with your sister. We got to talk. And
Yeah.
lack of communication caused us about $1,000 in crap that we didn't need. So
Got a lot of doubles. Got a lot.
and then on top of that, we had to drive all the way to Michigan and then drive all the way back. So
There's always next year, Jeff. There's always next
yeah,
year.
well, I can't wait. So I need to get another commercial job right
I was
around
gonna say,
December.
to me, it sounds like you could wait. You could wait quite a while to have.
Yeah, you know what? I might have to work at the firehouse
Yeah,
around
I'm
Christmas.
I'm booked. Come on,
I'm
boss.
booked. I got to work overtime or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
put me on the shift.
They called me in, but
It is a
speaking
funny,
of, I got to go to the firehouse tomorrow morning. I got to get off. I can
you
leave.
should probably like go to bed. It is later there than it is here. You're living in the future. Here's I got a closing question for you. We got to wrap up with one last question, and then we let you off the hook. And this is what I mean to ask every guest, but half the time I forget. But I didn't forget tonight. If you could do anything, it's got to be like work related. It would have to be a career thing. I'll say money isn't an object, but it has to be a thing that like could earn you some money, right?
Right.
I'll say it can't be firefighting. It can't be pressure. It could still be business owning, but it can't be pressure washing. If you could pick anything, what would you go do? What would you get after?
Ooh, I'd be a NASCAR driver.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, think about it. Like I don't even watch NASCAR, but like it was always on growing up every Sunday, and like I watch it. I'm not a huge NASCAR guy, but if I had one job,
You
like
kind of
say
just
money,
like it might be on in the background when Roadhouse runs out.
yeah, like if I had no like money wasn't an issue, and I could just be like, hey, here, I want to sponsor myself. I want to be Ricky Bobby. I'm going to sponsor. My car's going to say me.
My car's going to say Freedom Exterior Soft Wash.
I mean, I love driving. I just love driving. I love driving fast. As stupid as that sounds, since that movie ruined it. I mean, that would be my dream. Just NASCAR driver. Just fucking drive. No, I mean, I don't know. I think that would be amazing. I bought a ticket once. I did the NASCAR circuit. What's it called? Dale or Richard Petty NASCAR experience, or so you bought.
You just make some shit up. I don't know. I won't be able to tell
you.
I
bought. I bought. My wife wanted a date night, and me thinking large, not small. I bought two $1,200 tickets to go drive a NASCAR.
Date night, baby.
Yeah, so I took her to the NASCAR track, and we had to sign up, and I was like, all right. She goes, what are we doing? I go, we're driving NASCARs. We each get 10 laps as fast as you want to go by yourself. She goes, I don't know how to drive a stick. And I was like, well, you're going to figure it out real quick because I just spent like $1,200 on your ticket. So we do this training, it's just a video. You're like, hey, look, we're going to have a headset on. They're going to tell you when to speed up, when not to speed up, when to pass. You're on the track with other cars, right? And right away they call her first. Like, and she's like, holy shit. Like,
you're up.
Like she was the first person out of like 15 people. And they're like, hey, they're like, Vicky Ford, come on up. And she's like, God damn it. I don't know how to drive a stick. And so she sits in the car, and I'm telling her how to do it, but I've owned a lot of vehicles that are manuals, but she never paid attention. And I was like, hey man, I go, it's 4 gears. I go, just, drop the clutch and fucking go, and then just slam them. And she's like, I don't know what slam them means. I was like, just hit the gas and slam the gears. So honest to God, no joke. They give her the thumbs up, and she just takes off, roasts the tires, which they tell you not to do, roast them, and she's gone. She's out of pit row. I hear her switch to second, chirp them, goes around the bank. She's at the one in Virginia, the Monster Mile. She's sideways, chirping, going down the bank. I'm like, holy shit, she's doing it.
Let's go, Vicky. I bet she's in there just going like,
right. Well, it's only a mile track, and now I'm not hearing anything, and she's not coming back around. And I'm going, she should be back by now. And I'm like, yeah. All of a sudden, I see the F-150 with the yellow lights take off. So they bring her back. Someone else is driving their car, and I go, what happened? She goes, I don't know. I just stopped going after I got out of second and just stopped. And I'm like, so the guy who picked her up comes up to me. He goes, I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that she made it to third gear, or the fact that she's never driven a stick, came here to drive a NASCAR, and when they said, hey, you're up, she goes, yep, fuck it, let's go, and took off in an 800 horsepower NASCAR and didn't give a shit. He goes, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
That's just badass.
And I was like, yep, that's my wife. And then they called me, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to top that. But no. So if you ever have a chance to spend a stupid amount of money, it's worth every penny. It was a blast.
The only stupid amount of money that I got coming up here to spend, I think we've actually probably spent it already, is we're taking our 2 oldest kids to Disney. And when I keep seeing the expenditures for that go out, I'm just like, what did we sign up for? Like, what has happened? And I get like, you want to like get this pass and get that pass and stay here and do this thing. And we got a few ins to like save a few bucks here and save a few bucks here. And right. I'm just like, man, I thought like a family vacation would be in like the $5,000 range. I was ridiculously mistaken. I was just not, and I'm already going down to Florida for a convention. Like I've already got like business stuff tied into it. And I don't know.
Are you going to that convention in what is it, next month?
PWMCA. It's in like 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah. I think I bought a ticket, but I completely forgot about it.
I'll be there. I'll be there drinking Busch Lights and hanging out. I'm only there for Friday for a little bit. I think I'm speaking on Friday, and then we have a character dinner with Mickey that night.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spent too much money. That's
Dude, I don't know. I don't even know.
We went to Disney, so I'll give you a reference how much money I spent as well. We went to Disney as a family in California last year. And then this year, my parents live in Florida, so they invited us out there, and they said, look, we want to take her to Disney. It's what we want to do. Well, they didn't buy the tickets to Disney. We bought the tickets to Disney. So we go to Disney, and it was so fresh in my kid's head. She didn't want to go on any rides. She just wanted to go to Disney store. She could give a shit about any other ride. I just sat there roasting in the sun, finding stores for her to go to.
Oh, no.
And then she didn't give a shit. She just wanted to go in the pool. And I was like, dude, I just spent $1,000 on tickets, and you don't even want to be here. It was the biggest waste of money I've ever spent.
We can go sit in a pool anywhere.
Oh, my God. No joke. We went back to the hotel. We got 3 cases of beer with me, my dad, my uncle, my wife, and my mom, and my kid. And she swam in the pool, and we all sat there and just drank all day long because we were at Disney for 3 hours, and my kid was having a meltdown because she was just at Disney 5 months ago. So it was, oh my God! Thank God. I mean, whatever. I mean, it came from a bunch of wash money, but
yeah, I mean, cost of the tickets aside, sitting around poolside with people you love and having a few cases of beer, that sounds fucking great.
That's worth it. I mean, it's worth it. Yes, in the long run, it's absolutely worth it. But it was when you're baking in the heat in Disney, and all you want to do, and your kids screaming at you, you want to be brought to the brink. And they don't sell alcohol, so you're just miserable in the heat.
Oh,
unless you're at Epcot.
Now you're just rubbing it in that I'm gonna be stuck there.
It's bad. Yeah, so enjoy.
It's not for me. I just got to tell myself it's not for me. But I do want to go on some of them rides. I want to get on some of them rides, yo.
Yeah. Hey, do you know what? Actually, well, you're not close enough. My kid had a blast at Sesame Street. And here in Pennsylvania, they have this big park, Sesame Street, and they got roller coasters. And it's mostly a water park. She had a blast, and it's awesome. They have all the studio stuff where you can go be on Sesame Street and all the characters. And it's a lot smaller, so it's more personal. Well, you're not as crowded and miserable, but it was fun. I mean, that cost quarter the price.
Yeah, she was happy. It's probably not 110 degrees and humid as fuck.
Dude, it was a quarter. Yeah, it was a quarter of the price, and then it was surrounded by campgrounds. So you just take the camper, you rent the campsite for whatever it was, $25 a night. I mean, it was awesome. It was a blast. So.
That's a win, man. That's a win.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. We gotta let you get to bed. You got firefighting shit to do. We got Jeff Ford, everybody. Firefighter, pressure washer, business owner, future NASCAR driver. Jeff, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. That was a lot of fun. As we knew it would be, and I'm glad we finally on the third try got to actually hang out and BS for a long time. Next time I'm out in Maryland, I'm swinging by. I'll bring some. Are you going to ventilate that? Can we do some cigars in that speakeasy?
Yeah. If my camera was working, I was going to show you where I'm going to put the vent fan for the cigars next to the fireplace.
Good strategy. Good strategy. And I'd feel safe having a cigar in there since you're a firefighter. I feel like you'd be able to handle anything that would get out of control.
My house is probably worth more if it catches on fire. So we'll just exit the building.
Oh yeah, well you'll have a good safety plan.
I'll be like, hey, walk out this way. Don't touch anything.
Yeah, you'll have a good evacuation plan. Yes. All right, Plot will lit the shit on fire. Everybody out, grab your stuffed animals, just not the bag I already threw in the dumpster.
Turn all your cameras off and your cell phones, please.
Unplug that Wi-Fi. Unplug the Wi-Fi. Well, Jeff, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it.
I'll update my Wi-Fi plan for you.
Okay, yeah. Let her know. Kind of let her know, but just don't let her know too much. I don't want her to dislike me.
Okay. Understood.
It sounds like
I got the Humvee.
She'd beat the shit out of me and probably run me over with a NASCAR. I don't know. Or a Humvee. All right. Home service homies, thank you guys for hanging out. You guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. Good night.